Hi, I'm Belinda Fenty.
And I'm Pauline Nakaria.
Welcome to Let's React podcast, the show where we dive into the world of entertainment.
Yeah, we'll share our experiences, the highs, the lows, and everything in between.
Join us every week as we bring you stories, industry insights, and captivating conversations.
Let's React podcast, where the spotlight shines on our stories and the magic of Black British talent.
Hello, thanks for coming back again for episode 2 of Let's React podcast, the show where we dive into the world of entertainment and share our unique perspectives. I'm Belinda Fenty.
And I'm Pauline Nakaria, loving her energy today. And it's needed after the morning I've had. But yeah, thank you. Welcome back to Let's React podcast, episode 2. Yes. And what are we talking about today, Belinda?
Today we are going to talk about the reason why I'm stalling is because it's a heavy topic.
Yeah.
But we take it with such good humour because we're sort of used to it, and because we have to, and because we don't let it get us down too much. Sometimes we do, of course.
Yeah.
But we're going to be talking about our personal experiences of racism in the industry, from microaggressions to things that are more overt. And we'll be discussing what some other actors have said on it as well.
Yeah. And like Belinda said, it's quite a heavy topic, but we'll keep it light, shall we? To start you off, because it's the second episode, we get it, but we'll keep it more about the challenges around that and the experiences around that.
Absolutely.
Anything. So,
yeah.
And we would definitely love to hear your thoughts about it. So please take time to reflect on this episode as well, and also what we're saying, and we really encourage feedback from it.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think, we'll keep it light-ish because obviously this stuff, it does hurt. It does hurt.
It does.
But we hope that by sharing our own stories, some people might feel like seen and heard themselves and in the same way where absolutely. When I've read books on racism, like Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race and British, there's been something that's been so comforting to hear someone else saying similar things to the things that I've experienced. When you don't have the dialogue, you can feel quite isolated in your pain and in things that are quite hidden, like microaggressions. So hopefully when they listen to our show, it will resonate and they'll think, oh yeah, or like, yeah, we should talk about this, or I want to talk about this, or feel lighter in some way.
Yeah, definitely. What she said. But yeah, no, it is definitely an important topic, especially where, the assumption that we don't experience that much racism as it is like in America. There is quite a bit of racism in the UK. And actually on that topic as well, just saying that, Belinda and we done a short film last year co-produced with Belinda, and it is called I Am Light. And it is such a beautiful piece that kind of addresses a little bit of this topic in a way, actually. And it's been circulating the festivals.
Absolutely. It's been doing so well. It's been great to share and hear other people's stories as a consequence. And what a beautiful experience.
So for those who might not know it yet, I'll use the yet because you will now. I Am Light is a short film that was written and features our beautiful Belinda Fenty. And it is based off, I would say, a poem that she wrote on her social media. Especially, it was just after the George Floyd murder, wasn't it, Belinda?
Yeah. So basically what happened was, just after the George Floyd murder, I was being questioned a lot about how I was feeling and what people could do. And there was a post going around where you posted your picture and you copied a spiel that said something like, I'm a Black woman, I lift people up. And the spiel was good, but it just wasn't my word. So one morning I woke up and I just started writing on my phone, and the words just came, and it was all my personal experiences. And it came out quite poetically. What can I say? I mean, like, poetry just like, so it's sort of like a cross between an essay and a poem. But I wasn't expecting anyone to read it. People did. There was an enormous reaction. People were sharing it, sharing their stories. Very energizing. And because what I had written was really visual, when I spoke to a filmmaker friend of mine, made her read it, she could see it as a short. And I was like, yeah. And she was the person to do it because her work is so visceral and it takes you in and you can experience to some degree what I'm talking about through her images and her way of storytelling. So Pauline came on board and co-produced and also acted in it. It's amazing. And part of the message was, look, we do have racism here too in the UK. It's not just an American problem. Speaking of American problems, my favorite, or at least one of my favorite actors, said something, and I'm going to see if you can guess who the actor is after I've said it.
Okay.
So this actor said, I can reveal that this actor is female. Don't guess. Wait till I've said it, because you could probably guess. She said, I was always told I was too black, too ethnic, or not black enough for certain roles. My identity as a black woman has always been questioned in the industry.
I think I know who it is, but I know a couple of people said similar things,
Yeah. Go on, give me.
Let's narrow it down.
No. No. Come on, you get 3 guesses.
Okay. Is it Thandiwe Newton?
No. But you know what? The fantastic thing about you guessing here is the fact that those words could have been said by any one of us.
Yeah.
So the fact there's not just one person that comes to your mind kind of identifies or highlights the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on, give me another.
I'm trying to think of who else I remember.
Okay, I could tell you a bit more about the person.
Okay, go on.
I love this actor so much. They are incredibly inspiring. They are my guru. When they act, there's just so much truth there. And I feel like they open their thoraxes, they like crack open the ribs and pour their heart out on the screen. Yeah, just wonderful, wonderful actor.
Is it
American?
Is it Angela Bassett?
No, but lovely. And iconic.
Yeah.
Trailblazer. I'm going to read it one more time. I was always told I was too black, too ethnic, or not black enough. No, let me start again. I'm going to try actually with the voice.
Okay.
No, it's too late.
All right. Okay. I think I know who it is. Is it Viola Davis?
Yes!
Do you know what? I wanted to guess it before Angela, but I thought I love Angela Bassett as well. So when you went, I'm going to do the voice again, I was like, I know what that is.
Yeah, she's got like such a rich voice, hasn't she? Like, and it's quite sort of low and like, I was trying to get it into my diaphragm, but yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Viola Davis.
Yeah, so have you felt too black or not black enough for roles? And just tell me a bit more about your experience.
I think for me, it was being too black, but they never say you're too black compared to obviously America. I think for me, it was more like one time this one casting and they're like, okay. They decided to go a different way, like in terms of the casting. And then later when I watch it, it's mainly down to, I think, when you see the pencil, you just see you're completely different, whoever they end up going with. And, it could have been anything. It could have been like maybe the other person was much suited for the role, but that suited for the role for me a lot of the time, I would say 7 out of 10 times been penciled for something, and I then watch and see the casting, it's usually someone lighter than me.
So basically we are talking about colorism here. So the fact that by having a lighter shade of skin, it is still in 2023 an advantage. And me too, despite having my skin's lighter than yours, despite that I see it in both directions. Like I see that this lighter tone of skin gives me more advantages within the industry, and I also see that it's that lighter than me has even further advantages. It's a really challenging problem because even within Black communities, colorism is an issue. So then when you take it out into a scale where you have people who aren't Black, it's an issue there too. You know, in our cultures, we have people who bleach their skin, they damage their skin, they have awful, some people have blistering, scarring, horrible chemical reactions. So why are they bleaching their skin? You can see like a sort of, the color just looks unnatural, and you can see the darker color, their natural color around the hairline or on their neck, but this bit, it's not makeup, it's bleaching.
Yeah, and their hands are dark, as well. So when they touch their face.
Yeah, and the fact that this is still an ongoing issue just shows you how colorism is very much a thing.
Yeah, I think it's also in Asia as well. Like it's a predominant thing in Asia too. And and it's unfortunate that that's, you know, the idea. Because I remember when Black Panther came out and they were showing it in South Korea. I was watching some videos online, and they're doing like a vox pop where they're asking people on the spot like what do they think of Black Panther and stuff, and a lot of the people from that community who were being interviewed were like, they were quite surprised. They'd never seen Black people in that kind of light. They never really thought of beauty of the dark-skinned actors in, you know, in the film, like Lupita Nyong'o. She's dark skinned, just about the same skin tone. And it's funny, I once saw casting actually. The picture that they had of the reference, which was in contrast to what they were describing, was Lupita Nyong'o, and then there's they're describing someone who's more like from like the Horn of Africa, like, you know, Eritrea and Ethiopian, and I'm like, that's a completely different.
Yeah.
But I was like,
how strange.
Is that
very
right? Yeah. But I guess it's that thing of just, it's so weird how they don't realize how much they also shape how society sees people. And so by casting someone in a certain role, because that's why, you know, when I said Thandiwe Neaton, I love her. And I remember she did a video just after lockdown and talking about colorism and the roles she's got in. And I quite felt sorry for her in a sense that when she made the video, a lot of people came at her saying, you know, now you're talking about it, now you're addressing it. And I'm like, I get her position. Like, you know, at that point where roles are coming in, roles are already limited and restricted for Black actors. And so she gets offered a role. Yeah, of course she's going to take it, you know, in spite of the character, not say whether she's the skin tone of that character.
I understand.
So like Zoe Saldana had that with the Nina Simone role, you know, when people were like, oh rah.
It's so complicated, isn't it?
Or when you have,
because like you say, when your roles are so limited,
it's hard.
What we need are the people. Well, ideally you want the people behind the scenes in production. We want more representation there so that they will say to the casting director, or the casting director be listened to, because I don't know what happened in that situation, but they will say, no, look, we want someone who looks like them from this region, or who looks like.
It's like when Angelina Jolie, for example, did that film of that journalist. The character was mixed race French, and she had her skin darkened and her hair curled. Yeah, I remember thinking,
we are not there. We are not there. Like, we would need a world where there was absolute equality to start doing things like that. I don't know.
I think it was called.
There'd never be a need to do things like that.
It was called. The film was called A Mighty Heart. That was back in
wow. Oh yeah, that rings
2007. You know.
Yeah.
And if you Google it as well, A Mighty Heart, the actual journalist, if you see her, she's mixed race or North African, but
gosh, yeah, I've just seen that. oh no, I can't. That's too much. I can't. My heart can't take it. I feel icky having just seen that.
2007, you know.
Oh no, I feel so icky.
2000s.
Yeah, it's all too recent. That shows you how far we still have to go. Like the industry it is not changing overnight. There's still remnants of that, very much so.
Yeah.
But yeah, you said about how important representation is, and how when Black Panther went to South Korea, people were saying, "Oh wow, we've just never seen Black people in these sort of powerful roles." Is that what you were saying? Did it go down well? Did it change the perception of Black people?
Yeah, I think it was also because they'd filmed most of it in in Korea, and I think they were trying to also find out how they think her accent when she was speaking Korean, because you know that she's meant to be this undercover espionage spy from Wakanda, so they were just also trying to gauge that. And I remember they then talked about, we don't usually see Black people in such roles. They're always the stereotypical role of a if it's not gangsters, if it's not rappers, if it's not like that stereotype of what a Black actor or what a Black person should be, because obviously doing a film or TV, whatever that role is that we are as actors, we're representing the idea of what people believe or think. So they were quite amazed and
wow, so that really shows you the power of film and TV to open minds. That's brilliant. I love that.
Yeah, so they were like, yeah, it was nice to see that difference, that kind of so Black people don't have to always be gangsters. So.
Exactly. Talking of representation, I've not actually seen it yet, but here's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, go on.
I have never seen a rom-com starring Black actors, and now, of course, Rye Lane has come out. I haven't seen it. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Is it? So we're moving forwards. But the fact that it took until 2023 for this to happen, at least, I mean, I'm sure there must be a handful of other ones, probably American.
There's a few, actually, there's a few British films with Black lead roles.
Rom-coms, yeah?
Yeah, rom-coms. There's one that Michaela Cole did a few years ago. It was like not a musical, a film with music. I think it's called
Oh wait, I think I know what you mean. Was Irinse in it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But I mean, and like conversely, if I said to you, list 100 rom-coms that have white leads, you probably could do it. Let's not do that. But like whereas I didn't even remember that film that you just cited, and you couldn't remember the name straight away.
No, so but I remember watching it.
Yeah. Okay.
That was 2018. And then there's this another actor who did a Christmas rom-com. Not Boxing Day, what was it called? And it had one of the girls from Little Mix or something as the lead role. But like you said, it's a handful of films that we could possibly say or mention. And so that's why, like, sometimes it's also nice when you see shows, like some TV shows are starting to have more diversity in them, and whether it's comedy, especially comedy. Actually, I think a comedy, for some reason, I don't know whether that's that put in a character like a Black actor in comedic role, or whether it's just easier to have someone.
Well, what I would say is historically, comedy was the way in, because often the Black actor that they used would be the jester. In the beginning, they would either be subservient or they'd be the jester and subservient. So that's kind of like where we started. So it was always, so that's less of a far cry, but it was always the kind of more serious roles, the more rounded roles where there was a real lack. The professional roles. I mean, you mentioned sort of gangs and all, but it was always the other types of roles that had the biggest lack. So we cannot talk about racism in the industry or microaggressions in the industry without talking about hair. And you told me a story about a very mainstream production once, and I just, are you able to share any of it?
Yeah, I'll try and keep it brief. But hair is one of those things. Hair and makeup, one of those things that you know, someone who doesn't have that issue will never think of. But basically, when we're going on set, we'll carry our makeup. We'll have to do our hair beforehand before we get there. And I did a massive Hollywood film, big budget Hollywood film. And anyone who was on this will know. And but 90% of the cast were African, because it's most of it is set in Africa, and it was a supporting role, but literally turned up. I remember washing my hair, because I was like, they always say to you, turn up with your hair washed and clean, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, my hair, oh, okay, fine. I think I had plaits in. I remember taking them out and then washing it. And I remember thinking, oh, shall I plait it though? But then I was like, nah. So I just, you know, plaited it before bed, that kind of thing. Anyway, I went to set because I was like, it's easy to handle when it's plaited anyway, because it's straightened out a little bit, because it's not as kinky with the curls. So turned up, and the lady's like, oh, we need to cut your hair. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? You need to what? She's like, yeah,
Absolutely
because
shocking.
I was like, no, you don't need to cut my hair. So
yeah, there's not enough money to be cutting your hair. I cannot
no.
believe that this woman had the audacity to say, I need to cut your hair.
Yeah, and if anyone's wondering, she was white. Not her fault. I was doing a show at the time, and I was like, I can't cut my hair. I already took the braids out. And then she was like, oh, then you'll have to have it plaited. And I was like, oh, just my hair plaited. So I was like, okay. She's like, oh, you need to go over there. I was like, oh my God, they've got someone doing people's hair, like someone actually specializing in Afro hair. Get there, and it's like a massive queue. Oh, okay. And it's a massive queue, all waiting for their hair to be plaited. Like, how many people are doing it? And she was like, there's 2 or 3 people, I think. And I looked around the room. Belinda, there was over 50 people in this room. And this is just this tribe, by the way. There was other people in other tribes that they were meant to be representing. And they just have these number of people. The ones who had been there before had already had their hair done. And I remember looking and I was like, okay, this is going to take forever. So what I did was I just went to the bathroom. I did my hair myself. And in the location that they were, someone in production could have easily just gone out to town, just to the local salon, and just gone, yeah, so we're doing this film and we need people to do hair. We'll pay you for the day, whatever. Or just come. We need people to just literally.
So you're in a Hollywood film.
A Hollywood film.
Set in somewhere within Africa. And with 90% Black African actors, and just and asking to shave your hair, and then not having enough people to actually no planning to actually plait 50 people's hair.
Yeah, and it was last year shocking that I found out who those 2 people plaiting their hair were. They were actors as well.
Unbelievable. So they were just actors who happened to be there doing the same as...
Yeah, just there to work. And then they're like, there's no one to do their hair. And so they were like, oh, fine, we'll do it. And they were just like doing everyone's hair. They did pay them extra, but it was awful that for the time and planning it must have taken for this film to be for them to then not have anyone.
Did they have anyone from hair, or like were 2 of the 3 people actors, or were the only people plaiting actors, or not sure?
I'm not sure, because I was on there for just 2 days, and they get photos of actors before they go. Even if it's crowds, even if it just a background or supporting actors. Yes. Get photos of every single person, because you don't have to go for a costume fitting. You have to go for all of these things. So there's no reason to not have or find someone who can do that. And it just made me think, who was in the production office?
Exactly. Which leads us to what we were saying before, wasn't it? That we need to have people who are behind the camera as well, who are representative of all cultures, or whoever's involved in the production.
Definitely. And it's just unfortunate but having to take my own makeup, and even a commercial I did a few years ago, I took my own makeup. It was just out of habit. Took my own makeup, did my own hair. And I remember when I got there, like, she just got a little section. We're all different skin tones, but you have your own makeup palette with all the different ones for. And then
their favorite tagline, you're gonna say it.
They always say,
"Oh, you've got beautiful skin, such beautiful skin."
Skin is
great. You don't need anything. You don't need anything. Such beautiful skin.
Yeah. Oh my God. Honestly, I'm just gonna put a bit.
I'm not gonna do anything. Yeah.
Literally, I'm like, I have a close up. Doesn't mean I don't need it. I remember someone started a tweet And there was a lot of people who were replying going, oh, I always thought I really had genuinely great skin. And then it was like, obviously, after a few times, you're hearing it. Sometimes you realize, no, no, fam, it's not because you got great skin. I just don't know what to do with your freaking face, you know? So it is unfortunate that we have to think about that. We have to think, will they have someone to do my makeup? Will they have someone to do my hair when I'm booked for a job? Even when I'm penciled, I'm like, is there anything they want me to do with my hair so I can plan it and stuff? I think it was only one corporate job where the director called me and he was like, can you do your hair this way? And you just invoice it when your hair is done. And I was appreciative of that. And I was like, oh, okay, I was just going to do my hair anyway.
Do you think the industry is changing with regards to this sort of issue?
It is getting better, and I say this because one of my friends, she's a makeup artist. She's white, but she used to hear me going back home every day. I used to share a flat with her, complaining about how there's no one to do my makeup. And I think for her now, it's just more like a thing. She feels like they're just ticking the box, which I think is true because they just want to make sure they have diversity on set, but it doesn't mean that person has that much experience doing makeup. And even though like going to MUA Academy, there's not much, in terms of training. So she's had to outsource like training doing Afro hair, for example, as complimentary. Her course that she did, I think Pine would do like a course for
that's great.
Afro hair.
So your friend was proactive and
she
decided
did.
to get training themselves because there was nothing at her academy.
Yeah.
That's great.
And I one tip I just said to her is literally when you get someone black sit in your chair, just ask them, especially with their hair, how do you normally wear your hair, or what do you do to your hair, or how do you manage your hair? Because everyone's curls are different. Everyone's hair is a different texture. So it's just asking people like, oh, how do you wear your hair? What do you do to manage it? And trust me, that goes a long way because someone is then able to, okay, all right, yeah, I normally just do this and do that. And
yeah, exactly. So that's why our allies are so important.
Yes,
so yeah, we want more
allies.
representation, but allies like your friend,
yeah,
who go out and get themselves educated,
exactly.
What is going to help change the industry, right?
Yeah, and taking the time to do that. And also like I think she said to me once that her algorithms, she won't mind me saying this, her algorithms think she's a black woman on social medias.
Great.
I like that. I love that, when you have allies, it's really amazing to have that, and just hope that we'll carry on and we keep getting more people on our side ready to make that change.
Going back to hair. Going back to hair, as if hair is the only thing it's not, but it's just so important. It is integral to us and many of our experiences. Now, I don't know how you feel, but I find headshots a source of stress.
Oh, yeah.
Because, for example, have had an undercut. Now, also, I sometimes braid my hair. Also, sometimes I wear it sort of blow dried and straightened out. I wear it in different ways. Now, when I sent a self-tape to an agent, I won't say when, and it had some braids in it, my agent was like, oh, your hair, you need new headshots. And it's such a heart sink because it's like, look, do you not realize that our hair can change from week to week? Like my hair can be bone straight. I will wash it. That's all I would have done. And I've got a different hairstyle. So there needs to be, exactly. I feel like there's so much pressure for us to spend money to have headshots with every sort of hairstyle that we do, which would cost an absolute fortune. And there's just not much understanding of the fact that our hair is changeable. So just because I've got braids this week, it doesn't mean that you can't cast me in a role where the character has straightened hair.
Yeah, no, it is frustrating because like when I worked in a talent agency, so I noticed that a few headshot photographers started offering black actors like a package. So on top of the normal package, what they'll do is sometimes some of them charge extra, some don't. But I know two of them who didn't, and they'd say in a couple of weeks, or when you change your hair in a couple of months time, but usually it's a couple of weeks like you said, let me know and we'll book a session and you'll come and do some headshots with that hairstyle. And they would offer up like one extra session just so you could get the different look that you will have.
Brilliant. So
And
good.
I really do appreciate that to many headshot photographers out there who do offer that, because whereas having to go with a wig, you go with so you go with your hair out or the wig off, then you have to quickly put the wig on, and it's like you feel rushed as well in the session. It feels like you have to do these different looks, and then it becomes like a farce. It's just because we look different with every hairstyle that we have, and it's not easy. Like
in a way, I wish that for all headshots you would have to cover your head with a scarf. And then here you go, you just get my bone structure, and you can use your imagination, because my hair can be anyway.
Yeah.
As many ways as there are wigs.
Yeah.
So, but that's not going to happen, is it? So, but that would be great. Like, just universal, here's my face, my head in different angles. There you go.
Yeah. So definitely that's one way of creating an inclusive space, actually, that just allows us to be able to have that, to be able to just have our photos done, and then know that in a couple of months' time, not having to change our hair just so we could have the photos done or get different wigs.
I worry that when I have to do certain roles, that they're expecting me to look like, because I have like faux locks, like the locks look, and I don't see other characters on the TV who are playing professional roles, which is my sort of like typical casting. I don't see that represented. So does that mean that when I audition for these roles, that they're going to be like, oh no, the lawyer can't have locks like that, or the doctor can't have locks like that, or also when I get my headshot update in a week or two with locks, is it going to stop those castings coming through?
Yeah, because
and it's sad that we're in a time
not
where
presentable.
Exactly, they are, aren't they? And it's so sad that we're in 2023 and I have this concern, and it's a valid concern.
Yeah, even asking your agent shouldn't be that thing where, oh, can you just tell me which headshot you used for that casting, so I can go with that look?
Absolutely.
Unless it's
I should just think about the acting.
to the role. Exactly.
I wish I was just thinking about the story, the character, the acting.
It would just be one line. You go.
Yeah, exactly.
You just turn up and it's just literally, okay, yeah, when you're ready.
Yeah. And I was penciled for something very recently, heavy penciled, because the shoot is in a couple of weeks. They said, oh, make sure the actors look exactly the same. And I was thinking, oh no, 2 points. One is we're going from winter into summer. I'm going to spend 4 days in a field at Glastonbury. Whoop, whoop. I do use suntan lotion, but there's no way I'm not going to be tanned. And I am very, very tanned. It's not, and there was no way for me to stop that. And I cannot look exactly the same. And secondly, my hair grows. This undercut is now long enough that the next time I do my hair, which is soon, I'm going to get this plait into the locks. So I'm going to look different. So now to have all these anxieties that we have
on top of it.
It's exhausting. It's exhausting.
It is exhausting.
Do you have any self-care to deal with the emotional toil that it takes?
Well, getting to this stage in the years I've been in the industry, I've just become more like, just do my hair the way it is. I do look at my headshots sometimes, and then I would just be like, when I'm going to a casting, I will just try and see, when I read up the brief, what the role is. Because again, like you said, now focusing on the acting, I would think of what that character would be like. And I guess that starts with just, I think it was actually, it's funny, it was something when Melissa McCarthy said, she bases her characters on the wig. So she wears a wig for each character. So I just started thinking of it that way instead. And even when I'm self-taping at home, that's what I do. And I feel like that's worked out better for me, in the sense that I'm now just focused on the character that it is. And if someone asks me about my hair, if I go for a recall especially, I will say, please let me know if you want to see my hair differently, and I'll do that. Please don't be afraid to ask me that. It is very important that I say that, because I feel like the production, even the cast directors, sometimes not sure.
Yeah, from your experience as an agent, you remember this being an issue.
Is it okay to ask this? But it's okay to ask, because how will you know? And also sometimes it's nice when I go to some casting workshops and I have asked that and said, you know what, to be honest, we've just started not looking at the hair.
Well, that's fantastic.
That's and just focusing on the actor.
That's what we want. Okay.
And I was like,
so
oh my
progress
God, that's
is happening.
Because a lot of the time it feels like it becomes a thing. Right, do I put it back? Do I put a head wrap on it? Do I? And also, like, because of how young or how we look, the age affects how we look as well. So if I put my hair back, I'll look younger. If I, you know, if I put a head wrap on, I look more like a mom, like that. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so it's now just starting to think about, let me just focus on the character. And then it's when I'm doing my process that I then think, okay, this is how I think the character's hair would be. Yeah. And that's what I do now. But when I was new and fresh out, starting out, I was like, okay, cool, you know.
I totally know what you mean.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like times are changing a bit in that, because there is discussion about these issues already, way more so post the George Floyd murder. I feel like if I raise an issue, if I say, if I say that's a microaggression, people will know, a lot of people will know what I mean, or they'll think, okay, yeah, a good point. Let's actually talk about how this could be part of systemic racism. How can I change my system? If they're more receptive to it, whereas before you might feel more like a troublemaker, or like that your job might be jeopardized. Now I feel like people are anxious to get it right, to do better, keen to improve, and so way more receptive.
What about you? When you got your undercut as well, how did that affect you as a person and then obviously as an actor?
Absolutely, yeah. So I wanted an undercut when I was about 16, but there were a few things that were stopping me from getting it. So one was, first of all, working initially as a doctor, and it being an environment, a lot of people were very kind of old-fashioned and judgy, and like, oh, tattoos, or undercut, oh, piercings, like, oh, you're going to scare the old people, all of this sort of stuff. So then that kind of stalled me thinking about it. But then also then as an actor, this pressure doubled up because of my casting tending to be the sort of more professional role type castings. It was like, is this undercut going to mean I'm not going to get as many auditions through, or I'm going to get fewer auditions through? Now, it did change my casting a bit. There were fewer professional roles, I'd say. However, what it seemed to lend itself more to were more sci-fi type things, which I'd be very up for anyway. And actually, I had no regrets in doing it, because I felt like it was something for me. I did it during the pandemic. It was like, forget about all of you. I'm doing this for me. It felt liberating. It felt very me, this shaved bit that felt a bit edgy, that kind of like contrasted with the longer bit. I've got a multifaceted personality, so like it sort of reflected who I was.
Thank you for joining us on this episode. Yeah.
Totally. Thank you so much for joining us on Let's React podcast, episode 2. It's been great having you. Listen, thank you. We are so appreciative. Love sharing our stories. We look forward to hearing your stories too. Follow our podcast on Instagram at Let's React Podcast. And you can get in touch and let us know if you're interested in being a guest in our show too. There will be a link there to pop in some details and what you might want to talk about. So hopefully we'll meet some of you soon. Also, leave a review, 5 stars, please.
No pressure.
And share it with your mates.
Yeah, share it with everyone. But
so until next time, have an amazing week, and we'll see you here, same time, same place.
Bye.